So, to teach or to treat, that is the dilemma of a doctor. So the question is, the doctor who treats you or the doctor who teaches the society the rules of healthy living? Well, the answer lies in the word itself, doctor, because doctor is derived from the word dossier, which means to teach. So there is no dilemma. So I start my talk with a verse from Geeta. In fact, the last slok from Geeta, chapter 18, verse 78. Yatra Yogeshwar Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanudara, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhuti, Dhurvani Martimam. Which means, when Krishna is the Sarthi, the teacher, and Arjuna is the devout disciple, then the result will only be victory, joy, and the establishment of morality. Now we all know the power of Krishna. Krishna could have finished the war on day one, but then it would just have been any other war. It would not have been Mahabharata. And we would have been deprived of the timeless wisdom of a timeless being. Just to say that Arjuna, or for that matter even Krishna, by being a doer can have an impact for a lifetime. But Krishna, by being a teacher, has had an impact which has lasted beyond yugas. Now this is the dilemma of a doctor today. Whether to use his experience, his clinical acumen to treat the sick, to treat the disease, or move a step up and become a teacher to teach the society the path, the principles of healthy living to avoid disease. And see, these are exciting choices both, to be a Krishna or for a doctor, to be a Krishna or to be Arjuna. These are exciting choices. But still a choice needs to be made, or at least a balance needs to be created. And talking about being a teacher is me standing in my own school before my own teachers, where teachers guided me along the path in life few decades back. I look back upon it with pride and humility. Now, there's another dilemma for the doctor. When the doctor embarks on his medical journey, in the initial part of his career, when he has enough time to talk to people, people don't listen to him. And by the time people start listening to him, people start believing in him, the doctor does not have any time to talk to people. Now, talking, communicating, listening, it is so very important in medical practice because there is so much faith involved. Now, imagine the patient and the family, how much faith is involved. Suppose you go somewhere, somebody offers you a bit of prasad, you will not take it because there is no faith. Now, this patient will take so many unseemly pills, he will undergo a life-threatening procedure just because he has faith in you. You are his guru. And you cannot come back from a guru without a discourse. That is why medical science needs communication, needs listening, needs talking to. Now, visualize a couple sitting in my office, a husband, wife. Now, husband has some queries about whether he has a heart disease. And there are so many questions in their head. The wife is all ears. She is listening. Yes, a woman does listen because the person talking is not her husband. And of course, she also loves it when the husband gets a scolding to stop tobacco, to stop sugar, to lose weight. And it is so important to talk to women. It is said that when you talk to a man, you only talk to one person. That too if he pays attention. But when you talk to a woman, you talk to the society, you talk to the family. So coming back to the couple in my office, I have two choices. First, I just write stop smoking, stop sugar, lose weight. I write my medicines and send them home. Or I can take out some time, I can counsel them, I can give some logic, I can pull out my phone, there's an app on the phone, I can demonstrate that how by stopping tobacco, you can cut your disease of heart risk by at least 50%. By stopping sugar, you can cut your further risk of heart disease by 50%. It takes time, but it is worth it. Now there's so much talk about various pathies. Allopathy, homeopathy, naturopathy, and all these pathies are at loggerheads, almost fighting, trying to dominate over each other. There is so much of interference that we forget the two main pathies in medicine. That is the sympathy and the empathy. Sympathy for patient's clinical condition, patient's outcomes, sympathy for the relatives' concerns for patient clinical outcomes, and all the more empathy for sometimes the gross mismatch between the treatment, the expensive treatment that his clinical condition requires and his affordability. Now, when we look at this affordability at a socio-economic level in the context of Indian healthcare system, we have a huge chasm. On one hand, we have a chosen few who can demand and afford the state-of-the-art expensive treatment. And on the other hand, we have the huge mass population, which is striving and struggling to achieve their basic healthcare needs. And herein, in the context of Indian healthcare system, comes the need for prevention. The need for the doctor to step up and become a teacher, to teach the people the principles of healthy living so as to avoid the disease altogether. Winston Churchill once famously said that the time to repair the roof is while the sunshine is still out. And so is with the human body every time, every day. The time to repair, the time to inculcate the healthy habits of diet and exercise is right now when you are still healthy. Now herein comes another dilemma for the doctor. Because the person walking into my OPD, the person being admitted with me, is no more healthy, is partly diseased, is already sick. That is why the doctor needs to step out, go to the society, bring out his ideas, and as a social movement, go to the society and teach them to inculcate the habits, the healthy habits of diet and exercise while they are still healthy. Now this urgency and our concepts of preventive lifestyle is counterbalanced by our total disregard for exercise and especially diet. And nowhere is this more apparent than in an Indian marriage function. We all go to marriages, right? And there is this ritual that you take a plate, you go from each stall to another stall, and you sample every possible snack, every possible dessert. So this ritual is more sacred than even blessing the bride or the bridegroom. Sometimes you don't even know who the bride is, who the bridegroom is. We just go to the marriage, eat and come out. So the overflowing plates are only matched by overflowing torsos. Now coming to me, fueled by my zeal for prevention and also appalled at the total disregard for the concepts of a healthy living, I started a Facebook page by the name of Heartwise 8 years back. Now, of course, it has around 30,000 members. And herein we used to daily put messages that how by making very small changes in lifestyle, you can save yourself from big diseases. Diseases which are life-threatening and also wallet-draining. Very simple messages like, जो रोज चलते हैं वो बरसों चलते हैं, to encourage people to walk 10,000 steps daily. Of course, we all know कि जो रोज ज़्यादा चलते हैं वो ज़्यादा बरस चलते हैं. Simple message to tell people the ill effects of sugar, how sugar is the new tobacco, not only in terms of causation of disease, but also as an addiction. Telling people the concept of calorie and weight, that how the simple calories in your diet take away all the benefits of all your exercise. Telling them concepts like how a single piece of gulab jamun, that is few seconds of taste in your mouth, takes away 1 hour of your exercise. These messages were well taken. We received good feedback and we thought that we should take this program on a physical level to the city of Kota. So we started some programs. We started walks, we started Walk-O-Run, which became an annual event. In the process, we also made 3 world records in the category of social health. And it is so heartening to see people from all walks of life to have included some form of walk into their daily schedules. Now, I have also believed that prevention does not begin with grown-ups because the disease does not begin with grown-ups. The seeds of the disease are sown well into early childhood. In fact, blockages in coronary arteries have been demonstrated as early as 2 years of age. So, prevention begins in childhood, and with this thought, we started the Heartwise School program. Our team went to schools, we organized quiz programs, slogans, competitions, drawing competitions. Tens of thousands participated in those programs. And we took 80 assemblies in various schools of Kota. We could touch 1 lakh students. And we tried to imbibe in them. We tried to impress upon them to imbibe the concept of healthy exercise and healthy diet right into early childhood. We all know that children are the choice makers of the society, choice makers of the family. So we also asked the children to take the message back home to their parents. Now about taking the message back to their parents, there was this interesting incident. My family was sitting at Subway having a burger, me, my wife and 2 children, and there was this family sitting across us, and the woman got up, walked to our table. She addressed my wife, "Ma'am, we are so lucky to have you in the city. You people are doing such a wonderful job. And you talked about the ill effects of sugar, and my daughter is so determined, she does not allow anybody in the family to have a soft drink." Then she looked at our table and there was a glass of soft drink there between my children. So she smiled and said, "Well, occasionally it is allowed." So the message here is you can have a cheat day, but you cannot have a cheat life. So try to imbibe all these principles of healthy living into your daily schedule. Coming back to the socio-economic relevance of a doctor. I will give you a few examples of our work. So we installed open gyms in 7 parks of the city. Each open gym consisted of instruments, around 12 sets of instruments, which you could exercise the muscles of legs, thighs, abs, shoulders, and also do all kinds of joint mobility. We needed to tell people that in addition to a daily walk, some kind of joint movement and some kind of strength exercise is important. And it is so exhilarating to see old women, old men doing those exercises in the city parks every day. The cost of one such set of machines was 2 lakh rupees to us. Now that is the cost of a single angioplasty or a single bypass. So on one hand, a doctor, by being a conventional doctor, can treat a few centimeters of artery of a single person. And a doctor as a teacher can prevent so many more arteries in various people from getting blocked up. Now another example of the socio-economic relevance of a doctor. We started a Save a Heart campaign in the city. Save a Heart was to teach people CPR. How to train people to do something in emergency when somebody collapses. You need to do cardiac massage, you need to do artificial respiration. And we bought 7 mannequins for this purpose, 7 dummies, wherein people could actually tame themselves, give cardiac massage and be confident about CPR. These 7 mannequins cost us 3 lakh rupees, total 3 lakh, the amount was 3 lakh rupees. Now that is less than the cost of a AICD. AICD is a device which is implanted inside a patient, and sometimes it gives a shock and saves a life. So on one hand, 1 life saved. We conducted around 60 such sessions, trained 5,000 people, and we keep getting that feedback and reports that one of our people trained in these camps has saved a life somewhere. So it is so much more effective. And who can forget COVID, the disease of panic? Unknown disease being fought with unknown drugs, daily changing treatments, daily changing principles of treatment, when all the people needed was education. People needed to be taught pranayam to increase their respiratory capacity, to increase their immunity. They needed to be told that you need to stay at home. Even if you get infected, just take rest, take hydration, take basic medication. And even if you get sick, monitor yourself at home, do proning, that is lying on your tummy and doing deep exercises. Continue your pranayam, and only in an emergency go to the hospital. But what we did was we panicked. We made a rush for oxygen, we made a rush for remdesivir, we made a rush for hospital beds, and the hospital became like death base. So we at Heartwise, we started a 24-hour helpline center wherein people could call with their problems just to take away the panic. Our volunteers would guide them through the isolation, guide them through monitoring. We printed booklets and distributed them. We made use of social media, posted videos, posted various articles just to take away the fear. And almost as a first in India, we made COVID kits. Each kit comprised of a pulse oximeter, a thermometer, a respirometer, some gloves and sanitizers, and just to tell people to monitor themselves and stay safe at home, because in my experience, more lives in COVID were saved at home. Before I finish, my favorite quote, I always quote to all people out there. I always quote, the amount of money which you leave in your bank when you die is the value of unnecessary work that you have done. So do work, but work to bring about happiness to yourself and also to bring about a positive change in people's lives. And also to all the doctors out there, especially the budding doctors or the striving doctors who are going to be doctors, while you use your clinical acumen and experience to treat the physical body, try to learn to heal the soul. Try to communicate. Try to practice sympathy and empathy. And in the process, you will not only become a revered doctor, but also a teacher to the family and a guru to the society. Always remember, the greatest of all medicine is to teach people how not to need medicine. Thank you so much.